Hello, this is Joel Toppen. I'm the designer of Navajo Wars. And in the second video, what I'm going to do is continue to walk you through the tutorial that's found in the opening pages of the game's playbook. What we're going to do here is we're going to continue from page 2, right-hand column. What we did in the first video is we introduced you to some of the game's components, sorted some pieces out. Now let's go ahead and start setting up a scenario. We're actually going to use a modified version of the Rise of the People scenario from section 14.1 of the playbook. You don't actually have to turn there in the rule book, or the playbook rather. The tutorial is going to actually walk you through how to set everything up in a very conversational manner. What we're going to do first of all here is gather up all 12 of the family counters. Those are the ones that show the Navajo on horseback. They're tan in color. They have a blue letter in the middle, a ferocity value in red on the right, and a black evasion modifier on the left. There are 2 counters for each family, 2 for family A, 2 for family B, 2 for family C, and so forth. So you want to gather all of those together, and we're going to put families A, B, and C in play on the map. Families D, E, and F are going to be out of play, and both of their counters will be placed in the little holding space that's reserved for them on the population display. So let's go ahead and we'll take family A, and we're going to go ahead and put family A into an area of shiprock. Now, the game board is basically divided up into 6 territories. Each territory has a die roll symbol, and each territory also consists of a series of areas. Most areas have 6 of these, or most territories have 6 areas that are depicted as little stones. The area called Canyon de Chelly is a special one because it does not have a die roll symbol, it doesn't have drought spaces, and it's only it only consists of 3 areas. What we're going to do is we're going to place family A into area number 3 of the shiprock territory. Now I said area number 3. Area 3 also has a number 1 in parentheses. You're going to ignore the parenthetical value unless the rules or chart specifically tell you to use that parenthetical value. So when I say area 3, I mean the area that's got the number 3, and we just ignore what's in parentheses. You're going to place the counter so that it shows a ferocity of 0. So make sure it's got the right side face up, and you'll place the other counter back in the holding place for it over on the population display. Now here in the Vassal module, I can have the counters be in any one of 4 states, so we don't have 2 counters for each family in the Vassal module. Okay, family B, we're going to go ahead and put family B over in area 1 of the San Juan Valley. We'll place his other family counter back in the holding box if you're doing this on your physical copy of the game. And then family C, we're going to go ahead and place up here in area 1 of the Canyon de Chelly. Place his other counter back in his holding place in family box C, and then place both of family D, E, and F in their respective family boxes. So we've got all 3 of our in-play families on the map ready to roll. Now we have to populate them. As you read about in your small reading assignment from the last video, you read about the population counters, and you know that each family can consist of 3 different population counters. So what we're going to go ahead and do is put 1 of each age group into each in-play family. We're going to do this for family A, B, and C because their families are on the map. We're not going to do that for family D, E, and F because their families are not yet in play. So we're going to place a family counter in family A, or excuse me, a man counter in family A, a woman in family A, and then a child in family A. And we're going to continue to do this for family B and for family C. So all of our family counters are set up, so we can go ahead from this point and begin to set up the elder display. At the beginning of the game, the elder display is going to consist of 3 elders, so we're going to place 1 in each of the 3 leftmost boxes on the elder display. You read a little bit about the elder display in our last video's reading assignment. So here in the Vassal module, I'll just create 3 elder counters here, and then I'll slide 2 of them over. Remember, there is no stacking limit in the various boxes of the elder display, but at the beginning of the scenario setup, there's only 1 in each of the 3 leftmost boxes. Okay, so our elder display is populated, our families are populated. Next, we need to prepare draw cups for the game. You can do this a couple of different ways. One of the ways that I like to use is small little Tupperware containers that you can hold the chits in. They're round in shape and it's just easy to pull them out of and to scramble all the pieces up inside them. Some players may not want to do that. They may have difficulty feeling which side of the counter is the back and hidden side of the counter and which is the side of the counter that's got the information. Sometimes you're going to have to blindly pull a counter out and place it face down. So you're not supposed to even look at what the counter, what its value or identity is. You're only supposed to be able to see the reverse side of it, the common side of it. If you find difficulty doing that by feel, then the other way that you can do this is you can take all the counters and place them so that they're all face down on the table and scramble them up. Whichever way works for you, just be aware that the rules will refer to draw cups, even if you're not physically using a cup. There are 10 corn counters that you're going to want to collect all together and scramble them all up or place them in a draw cup. Here in the Vassal module, I place random draw cups in the out of play box. There's probably not enough room to do that practically in a physical copy of the game, so you'll probably want to do that next to the game board. You'll also want to do this for the 20 brown intruder counters that have the white question mark on them. So get them into a draw cup or scramble them up next to the table, whichever method you prefer. And then take the cloth bag that came with the game and go ahead and place the some cubes inside there. Now that your game comes with a number of wooden cubes, but we're only going to put a certain number and a certain number of each color into the bag. What you're going to do is you're going to collect 3 black, 3 brown, 3 red, 3 white, 2 yellow, and 1 green. So again, that's 3 black, 3 brown, 3 red, 3 white, 2 yellow, 1 green. Place them into the bag and scramble them up. Place all the other wooden cubes back in the box. We're not going to use those. Here in the Vassal module, that's actually been done for us. I placed a random draw pool here right next to the rated cubes bowl because that's where things that are drawn from the raid pool will ultimately end up going most of the time. So that's already been done for us here in Vassal. Okay, there are 8 sets of cultural development cards in the game. We need to go ahead and prepare those for our tutorial game. There are 8 different types of cultural development cards. They are color-coded. Each development card has the word level and then 1, 2, or 3 following it. As you go up in levels with each culture card, they increase in power. So religion level 1 is not as powerful as religion level 2, and so forth. So what we're going to do is ordinarily at the start of a scenario, the player is going to choose one set of culture cards to guarantee as being available throughout the game. And he's going to do this because in just a moment, once he's protected one of these sets of 3 cards, then 3 of the remaining sets of cards will be randomly removed from play. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to arbitrarily say we're going to protect horsemanship. Okay, we'll just say that that's the one we're going to go ahead and protect. For this tutorial, we're also going to arbitrarily, not randomly, remove the other 3. So horsemanship, I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of pull them off to the side here to show they're protected. They can't be randomly removed. Now, in an ordinary game, what you would do is take the level 1 card of each of the remaining 7 sets, and you would scramble them all up, shuffle them up, whichever preferred method you want to use. And then you're going to choose 3 of those cards randomly, and those 3 cards will identify which 3 sets are going to be removed from the game and placed back in the box. For the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to just arbitrarily remove the cunning, sharp traders, and warrior societies from play. So we'll just pretend like those were the ones that we randomly selected. So cunning, sharp traders, and warrior society are gone from play, and the rest we'll just kind of put right back where they go here. here in Vassal. Now with a physical copy of the game, what you'll want to do is sort them like I did here with with stacks of 3 cards, and you're just going to want to put them near the map. Do not place them in the cultural developments and historic event cards bar here at the top of the map. That's reserved for cards whose effects are in play. What we have here is these culture cards are available, but not yet in play. So just place them somewhere near the map for now. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set up the markers here on the general records track here. You're going to want to find the brown military and culture counters as well as the brown APs counter, and you're going to want to set them on the map. Be aware that some of these counters have a +10 on the back side of it, so make sure you set it to the right side. And you want to set these up so it shows 9 culture points, 3 military points, or excuse me, 5 military points, and 3 APs or action points. So again, that is 9 culture points, 5 military points, and 3 APs. Next, you're going to find the Spanish morale and ferocity counters. Be aware that there are also Mexican and American morale and ferocity counters. And functionally, there's really no difference between them. It's just for ambiance. So find the Spanish morale counter, and you're going to place it so it shows that Spain has a morale level of 5 at the beginning of the scenario and a ferocity level of 4. So place the morale on 5, ferocity on 4. The tutorial, I don't believe, makes reference to a couple other counters, but you should be aware of them. There is also family activations remaining counters. There's an MPs counter that are available in the in your physical game, and the instructions don't tell you what to do with those. It's just a mnemonic device that you can use to remember where you're at as you're playing. So you'll want to maybe collect those and place them, just around here for now, just so you know that they're available to you to use, but you don't have to use them. There's also a Dene battle die roll modifier and enemy battle die roll modifier counter. These can sometimes be helpful in tracking the progress of a battle. And again, the tutorial doesn't make references to what to do with them. They're just mnemonic devices that you can have to kind of help you remember things as you're progressing through a battle situation. So you can go ahead and also collect those and maybe place them on the 0 spot, or just keep them nearby the map board for now. Now we got to place some counters in the out of play box. Make sure that you have the remaining man, women, child, and elder counters in the out of play box. You'll also want to collect the horses, the sheep, trade goods, harass counters, and the single firearms counter and get those ready. First thing we're going to do is find 6 of the trade goods counters, and we're going to place them alongside the map. Just place them out of the way for now. Don't put them back in the box. Keep them nearby because they could enter play, but they don't go in the out of play box yet. You're going to want to do the same thing with 2 of the 4 harass counters that come with the game. Just place them alongside the map for now. The 2 harass counters and the trade goods counters that we set aside could enter play when the cultural developments from Weaving and Masters of the Maces come into play. When those are used, or when those are activated, they can introduce the remaining trade goods and harass counters into play. You're going to place all 8 of the horses and sheep counters also into the out of play box, as well as the single firearms counter into the out of play box. So that pretty much gets all the players' counters set up for us. And now what we need to do is set up the enemy instruction display. So let me draw your attention over here to the right-hand side of the screen where you see an enemy instruction display. The enemy instruction display is the mechanism that's going to handle all the strategic decision making for the enemy in the game. Before the scenario, what we have to do though is gather the appropriate instruction counters and set them up on this display here. So you may have already noticed though that a lot of the counters in the game are color coded by scenario. So the Spanish counters, the instruction counters are yellow, as well as a lot of the markers that are going to pertain to the Spanish period are yellow in color. So what you'll want to do is gather up all 14 of the yellow instruction counters. In the Vassal module, they're all piled up right here in the enemy out of play bowl. But you'll gather up all 14 of these, and ordinarily 2 of them are randomly removed from play at this point and placed back in the box. That'll make every game really somewhat different. But for the purposes of this tutorial, what we're going to do is we're going to arbitrarily select what's going to go onto the instruction display. So what we're going to do here is go ahead and collect counters A, B, C, D, F, H, as well as counters I, J, K, L, M, and N. So A, B, C, D, F, H, and then the rest of them. Let's do those first. So I'm going to pull those out. And what you're going to do is you're going to place these in alphabetical order. So let me just kind of separate them here so you can see them all. And zoom in on the screen so this is a little bit easier to view by video. Okay, so we have counters A, B, C, D, F, and H. You're going to place them in the active column. There are 3 columns to the enemy instruction display: standby, active, and inactive. So we're going to place these counters. Only one counter can be in any one of these spaces at a time. So we're going to populate them in alphabetical order starting from the top of the active column. So we go A at the top, B, followed by C, and then D, F, and H at the bottom. So that's what, if you're doing this by physical game, this is what your physical game should look like. A, B, C, D, F, and H in the active column. Make sure that they are face up. If you flip the counter over, you'll find that the letter goes away. That's just a way that kind of helps with the setup process. So make sure you have the proper side face up. So all of these should have the letter face up on them. Next, what we're going to do is populate the standby column. So we're going to select counter I, J, K, L, M, and N. Counters E and G will just say were the ones that were randomly selected not to be a part of this scenario. Okay, and again, you populate them in alphabetical order starting with the top. So we'll go ahead and put counter I, J, K, L, M, and N. And now the brains of the AI, artificial intelligence of the game, is all set and ready to go. Okay, scenario 14.1 actually calls for the player to select and put into play any one of the cultural development cards that's not been already removed from play. And so what we're going to go ahead and do here is we're going to select Horsemanship Level 1, and we're going to place it immediately into play for free. And we could have selected any one of these level 1 cards of Wisdom, Masters of the Maces, Religion, Horsemanship, or Weaving. We're going to choose Horsemanship though. So we'll go ahead and draw this out, and we'll place it along the top edge of the board where it says Cultural Development and Historic Event Cards. And by placing it in here, its effect, its benefit is active and in play. Okay, one last task remains before we can start the game. What we have to do now is actually create the deck. So what I'm going to need you to do is follow these steps. And these steps are found on page 4, left column of the playbook. I need you to find a bunch of cards here. Most of these are operations cards. There's 2 ceremony cards and 1 historic event card. And you can identify them by the numbers in the lower left-hand corner of the cards. You need to find card number 8, number 15, 21, 24, 26, 32, 36, 40, and 41. And you're going to stack them so card 32, which is an operations card, looks just like this here, zoom in for you, is on the top, and then card 41, the Pueblo Revolt, is on the bottom. The specific stacking order is card 32 on top, and then card 36 underneath it, then card 26, then card 40, 15, 8, 24, 21, and 41. So make sure they're stacked in exactly that order. Next, you're going to want to find cards 43 through 55, and you're going to want to put them back in the box. So let me go ahead and show you those. 43, All right. 43 through 55, we're going to go back in the box, and that's going to be the cards that start with Viceroy de Galvez, and then you have settlers colonized New Mexico, as well as all of the Mexican period events, Santa Fe Massacre, Dene Anay, the When the Land is Sick, Narbonne's War, Forts Fauntleroy and Fort Defiance and Fauntleroy, Death of Henry Lynn Dodge, Manuelito's War, American Civil War, Mexican Independence, Army of the West, Kit Carson. All those cards get dumped back in the box. We're not going to use them in this particular scenario. So make sure you go ahead and just pull those out of the game. But you'll need card number 42. Okay, so make sure you hold on to card 42. Card 42, Franciscan Faction Ascendant, is going to go face down on the table. This is actually going to be the bottom of the deck here. We're actually going to gather up the remaining 32 Operations and Ceremony cards, and they'll look like this on the back. They'll say Play Deck on the back. You're going to gather up the remaining 32 cards. You're going to shuffle them all up, and you're going to deal 8 of those cards to the top of card 42. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to randomly draw 8 cards out, and I will go ahead and throw those down here on the deck, or on the map here for me. So we shuffled up those 32 remaining cards. We dealt 8 of them onto the top of card 42, and then the rest of these cards will go back in the box. So you can throw all the rest of the play deck cards back in the box. We're not going to use them for this scenario. Okay, shuffle this stack of cards. We're going to take card 42. We're going to shuffle it in with this group of 9 cards here, and we'll shuffle it all together. I'm not going to actually do it here in Vassal, but in your physical game, you would shuffle those all up, and that's going to be the bottom of the deck. And card number 42 is going to terminate the scenario, but you don't know where in that stack of 9 cards it's going to be. And then what we'll do is we will throw that onto the bottom of the deck, and then we'll place our specifically stacked grouping of cards that we did in step 1, and we're going to put that up on top. So those are the topmost cards in our draw deck. Okay, so the scenario is all set up, and we're ready to actually start playing here. As we conclude this video, we'll go ahead and draw the top card off of our deck, reveal it to be an operations card, and we're all set to go. And so in video number 3, we will actually begin to start resolving this card. But first, what I need you to do is read a little bit from the rule book. What I'm going to ask you to do is turn to your rule book and read from page 5, right-hand column. You're going to want to read all of section 2. Section 2 concerns the sequence of play in Navajo Wars. And so I want you to read the entirety of section 2, which is on pages 5 and 6. And when you're done with that, go ahead and proceed to the next video. I'm Joel Toppen, and this is the second video of Navajo Wars. We hope you found this to be an enjoyable learning experience.